What's going on, everyone? This is Jay from Premier Gaming Entertainment, and I wanted to bring a video to you today about something that's been on my mind, something that I think is very important and needs to be implemented as soon as possible. Now, this is just my opinion, so, take it as it is. But what I was going to get at is I've been watching the NCAA Tournament. The first couple rounds have gone by. As you may know, I'm a Michigan fan, and I've been watching them make it to the Sweet 16. I'm happy for that. So on the eve of the next round of play, which is going to be tomorrow, I wanted to make a video about something that's been glaring that needs to be looked at and maybe even thought about being put into the game. So anyways, try to watch this video all the way through and, give your opinion on what you think, whether you agree with me or disagree with me, whatever the case may be. But what I wanted to talk about is one of the biggest issues that I've had watching the final, it's not the Final Four, but NCAA basketball. And is this issue with the officiating. Now, I know this is not something that's new. There's been blown calls since I can remember watching basketball. Hell, in the Final Four, and I remember when the championship game with the Fab Five, I remember the key play down the stretch was when they inbounded the ball to Chris Webber, and he took the ball and traveled. Nothing was called. So yeah, as a Michigan fan, I saw that get overlooked, or whatever the case may be. But it just seems like officiating is getting worse and worse and worse, and calls are getting missed or overlooked. And if, the more it goes on, the more it's going to turn people away from watching the sport, because the first thing that always pops into people's minds when you see this glaring, egregious calls being missed is, oh, the refs must have got paid off, or, oh, this game is rigged, this game is fixed. And I hate to see it, because it's like sometimes these calls that are missed are just so bad and so obvious. It's like, what else can you believe as someone that's trying to be as neutral, as general as possible watching these games? Let alone if you're a fan of the team that's getting just absolutely just dumped on. You're going to think something is up. So what I was thinking that they should do is they need to have some sort of, how could I put it, some sort of challenge system for coaches. Now, it's not something where they just challenge every single thing, but I'm talking about some sort of dead ball challenge where the coach, it could even be live if, it's not something where the other team has an advantage, but just something where the coach could say, click a button, it buzzes the referee, and they can take a look at an obvious play that needs to be reviewed. Now, I'm not talking about, stuff like, oh, my player got fouled, I want to challenge that. Not anything like that. Or, oh, that was a charge and not a block. I think you need to look at it again. I don't think they need to do anything like foul calls or anything like that. Something similar to the NFL, where obviously the coach is not going to throw a flag on the field for a holding call. But, if there's some sort of violation that needs to be overlooked, or if they felt the guy didn't get enough yards, or if he stepped out of bounds, whatever the case may be, that they need to review that. I think that the coaches should get one challenge per half where they can just buzz in on, things such as, I don't know, a guy sticking a hand through the hoop to block a shot. Maybe. Or let's say a guy takes about 4 or 5 steps before he runs into a guy for a blocking charge. Maybe that. Point being is they need to be able to. It should. Too many times these games are left entirely up to the ref's hands, and it just kills teams. Now, the two things that I was mentioning were obviously the Northwestern game versus Gonzaga, where, I mean, that was probably one of the worst calls I've ever seen in my whole entire life. I mean, it was just so plainly obvious. I mean, the guy's fingers were caught in the mesh as he's going through the hoop to block the guy's shot. Now, everyone's going to say the coach, he lost the game for walking on the court and getting the technical foul, which is all stuff that's after the fact of them missing the call. Like, he wouldn't have walked on the court if they had got the call right to begin with. Now, if they had the system in place, he would just buzz in and say, hey, look, you guys need to take a look at that. That was a goaltending call. And they would have did it. I don't understand. I mean, we have all this technology out there. You have so many cameras. Now, they can go ahead and they can sit there for 20 minutes and review whether or not who the ball went off of. Or they can sit back there and check and see, how much time should be left on the clock. They have all the ability to do that, but they don't have the ability to review whether or not a guy stuck his hand through the hoop and goaltended the ball. I think it's ridiculous. And stuff like that changes the whole course of a game. I don't care what people say. I hate when people give this, if the team was really going to win, they wouldn't have left it down to that one play. That one play shouldn't have dictated the whole game. They had a whole X amount of time for them to get it right. A whole 40 minutes. It shouldn't have been down to that one play. Oh, that's a bunch of crap. Because you never can. Obviously, if this happened with 2 minutes into the game in the first half of a game, yeah, it ain't gonna make much of a difference. But if you're talking about it's the second half, momentum's all on that team's side. They're coming from way from behind. The other team is losing their poise, and it's a point swing. Stuff like that can determine the whole outcome of a game. I don't care what people say. So, would Gonzaga have lost? Would Northwestern would have won? Who knows? But we'll never know because that was taken away from them. Same thing with the North Carolina game. I think at the time, Arkansas was only down by 1 point. So just imagine what that would have done if that was a traveling call, as opposed to it being a blocking foul and the guy's going to the line to shoot. I mean, it's just something that you have to think about. I remember another charge, or at least one call that I know, which would go against what I'm saying, but it still goes into the point of momentum. The Michigan game where Mo Wagner got the steal, and somehow or another this referee said it was a foul. So instead of us going one way to score, I think we were down 3 at the time. It ended up being that they went the other way to shoot free throws. I mean, that stuff, it just kills. I mean, it was a huge stretch. I think they said there was another call. I didn't see the first half for the most part. I only saw that one play. Then I saw this whole second half. But from what I'm hearing, those two plays could have just completely decimated the team. Stuff like that kills your momentum. It kills your whole spirit, because you feel like it's not only the team that you're going against, but you're also going against the referees as well. And for guys that are not 17, but 18, 19-year-olds, stuff like that can just, if you're not mentally poised to get over that stuff can just affect your whole game. So they need to get this right. I mean, I don't see what an issue would be with that. Like I said, just simple violations, like if it's a traveling call, a guy stepped out of bounds, who the ball went off of, whether there's a goaltending call, just simple things, whether it's traveling, simple violation calls are, give the coaches the ability to at least challenge something, because I'm pretty sure that at least twice a game there's a call that's just so god-awful that if they were able to challenge it, they would get it right. Because to me, what is more important than anything else is getting the calls right, more than anything else. Plus, to me, it helps to make the referees accountable. I am so tired of referees, just making some call and that's the end of it. It's their call, and then you just go on with it, and the other team has to deal with it. Referees need to be held accountable for their calls. I mean, there's so many times where they just make just an absolute awful call, and there's no accountability for it. I've always said that referees need to be able to answer questions just like they force the players to answer questions at the end of games. Why do they shelter the refs away from it and not ask them to give their opinions on what they saw? Like, I would love to know what the referees, how 3 referees couldn't see a guy stick a hand through a hoop with his fingers caught in the mesh and block a shot. I'd like to see how they would answer those questions, because the first thing that anyone asks is, did you see it? No. How could you not see it? Everyone else in the whole building saw it. How could you not see it? I mean, why can't the referees answer questions other than... See, now it goes back to this whole conspiracy theory of refs controlling games in order to get a certain outcome. So I think that this would stop all that argument, leave people to not believe these things by, just giving more control over the outcome of games to the coaches. I mean, it's just one call a half. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it could make the difference in a game where they just get it right. Because I'm sure the referees want to get it right. They don't want to be the referee that stole a game from another team by getting a call wrong. So why not just get it right to begin with? So, I mean, that's it. That's it for my video. I just thought I'd just put that out there. I don't know. And I think this could work for the NBA too, because Lord knows we've seen bad calls in both, the NCAA and in the NBA, where same thing. One challenge could just solve the issue of a very bad call, and also keep the referees accountable. Because, like I said, if a ref feels that he's going to be accountable and he's going to be scrutinized for a call that could be overturned because it has to be further scrutinized, it's going to make the refs more on point to make sure they get the calls right. So, that's it. Anyways, thank you for watching the video. If you like the video, feel free to leave a like. Like I said earlier, if you have any comments about what I said, if you agree, disagree, whatever the case may be, leave a comment in the comments section below. And please try to share this video with as many people as possible. I really want to get this discussion going. Like I said, all I care about is just everything being fair, the referees getting it right, and giving the teams just a legitimate shot of winning the game. Whether it's a team that I'm rooting for or rooting against, no one wants to see a team win under circumstantial stuff where it's like, oh, the referees got paid. No one wants to hear that crap. You want to know that you won on the court with no help from the referees. You did it by your own talents. So please share the video with as many people as possible and get the word out there. Anyways, thank you for watching the video, and have a great day.